Hi, and welcome to my show, Dare to Dream. I'm your host, Reverend Graham Williamson. I'm an international evidential medium and psychic, very intuitive. I've been doing this all my life from the age of 3.5, finding out I could see things differently. And the show today, believe it or not, well, in fact, I'm going to follow Cece, she's the boss. But we are on the new streaming network, which is the base for Going Solo Network, radio, TV, and podcasts. We're the number one internet singles talk network. And as I say, my show, Dare to Dream, today is all about how to deal with negativity. Negativity doesn't always mean it's wrong or it's bad. Negativity, in my opinion, is about it doesn't agree with how I feel at the moment or the circumstance. And we've got to realize in our lives we have the good and we have the bad, the positive and the negative. Life is about that. Even our bodies can't work without the plus and minus, the negativity and the positivity running through it, the energy. But it's what you do and how you think about it, how you respond to it, react to it. Negativity can be a stop. Whoa, you're going too far. Take a step back and say, yeah, I didn't really think that one out. It was wrong, but my intention was right, but at the wrong time. I've encountered so many people when I do readings as a medium. I do a 15-minute reading, and a lot of time people forget about themselves. They always wanted to cater for somebody else. I care for you. I want to do this for you. I want to do that for you. But they forget about the reverse. They forget about themselves. It's great to care for other people. I fully commend it. I endorse it. But you've got to also look at the negativity of it. How much of your energy are you using on other people? Are you draining your energy? Your energy is limited, your physical energy. That's why you eat, you sleep, you exercise, you do all the rest of it. Because your body has limited energy. Yeah, you're alive and you're doing everything you want to do. But when you start giving of yourself to other people, it drains that energy if your intention isn't set correctly. You've got to be positive. I'm going to look after this person as well as myself. My intention is to do exactly that. Like when I do readings, my intention is to do my highest and best and to uplift that person, make them feel seen, heard, and felt in their heart, that they're not alone in their struggles with life and just getting confirmation about loved ones that have passed over. And how's this for a bit of a twist on terminology? I used to work at a grocery store, one of the biggest in Florida, and I have an affinity with the emergency service people. Being an ex-serviceman of the Royal Navy, I learned firefighting and basic first aid. Whenever I see any of these guys, I always say the same phrase. I hope you have a really boring day. Unfortunately, people have heard me and misunderstood. And they come up and berate me for a good 5 minutes. And the people that I was sending a message to, the emergency people, they stand back, look at me, and they grin. And they wait. And people are right saying, you shouldn't decry our sort of excellent helpers, emergency people. They do a fantastic, yeah. But think about this. I'm saying I hope you, emergency people, have a boring day, which means I hope you're not saving somebody's life because they've taken care. I hope nobody's been injured. No, or nobody's got a fire or something like that. Or the police. You've got to listen to both sides of the story, the positive and the negative. And when the people realise they've jumped the gun a little bit, they're the ones that go, oh, I'm wrong. I said, no, you misunderstood. You didn't think, you didn't listen, you didn't understand. We all think and respond. Unfortunately, when you think without listening to your heart and your gut instinct, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be wrong. Because I know this, I've done that. Yeah, it applies to the person thinking it, but not the person that you're sharing it with. Life is really a very simple thing. When we love somebody, we give unconditional. But think about what unconditional means, without restraint, without limitation. When you love somebody, life isn't full of roses. You still have your ups and downs. You still have your interaction, because the two people, and instead of being like this, you say, oh, we're like this. To me, that's butting each other, pushing each other. No, I say, you join like this. That way, together, you're unbreakable. But you're still individuals. I found out the hard way by inexperienced youth, not knowing life and things like that. A couple of times I failed. And I said, I'm never going to do it again, never going to get married again. And I met this lady over 23 years ago now. And from that, I have been able to help other people who have experienced negativity in their marriages or the partnership. Life, and how you deal with it, can change that negativity into a positive. Excuse me. A lot of people, and I have to say this, a lot of females who come from my readings have said about the trauma in the relationship, whether it be marriage or just a relationship. And they're always giving. I said, what about you? What do you want to do for you? Oh, I can't be selfish. I said, is it selfish to give? I said, no. Is it selfish to respect yourself? I never thought of that. I said, why not? Because you have a positive attitude, but you forgot about the negative that comes in balance with it. I'm not saying look for the negative. I'm just saying be careful with what you are giving, because there's always a balance. Negativity is a balance of positivity. It's life. We're here for a limited time. And the more you look after yourself and respect yourself, the longer you may be on this earth. And to do the highest and best you can, people will remember you for your kind deeds as well as your negative ones. We've seen a lot of news about all the negativity on it. And we're going, oh, this is blah, 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 blah. I've turned it off, don't want to know. That's fine. But remember, life is not easy for some people. Life's easier for others. And you've got to look at yourself and say, how would I like others to treat me? And if you think about that, then you're halfway there to solving a problem. But you make your problems as big or as small as you wish. I prefer to say, I'm facing it head on, find out what I've done wrong for me, what makes me feel uncomfortable, and do something about it. I don't always succeed. I'm not saying I've got it all worked out. I haven't. But I'm not being negative of the fact that I have not worked it all out. But I respect it's going to encounter in my life a lot of times. But by learning from the past, I'm able to say to you today on this show of Dare to Dream about Dare you respect yourself? Dare you dream of a better life? Do you think your life is worth sharing, giving, or hiding, protecting yourself? If you're protecting yourself, what are you protecting yourself from? Somebody else or yourself? I know I met a child the other day. He has autism. And I've encountered a lot of people with special needs and disabilities. And the mother was actually having a reading, and her son with autism was sitting next to her. And she says, "You've got to watch him, he'll flare up and gets all angry." I said, "That's fine, you can do. I know how to deal with it." And he sat there looking at me, this little lad, he's about 10, 11 years of age. And he said, "I like you. Will you give me a hug?" In the middle of a reading. I said, "May I ask your mum first if that's okay?" And he looked at me and he went, "Yeah, I think that would be just fine." And his mother was shocked. She'd never encountered somebody asking permission to hug her son. And her son turned around and said, "I like him because he respects my boundaries and yours, Mum." She cried with tears of happiness. And somebody was watching this, and I could hear them talking in the background. So, "What are you doing with that?" And the comment wasn't very polite. So when this couple, the child and the mother, left, I went up to the person who spoke. I says, "You have more of a negativity around you by your actions and your words than that child has. You're limiting your growth on this earth." So what do you mean? I says, "That child understood why I asked his mum if I could give him a hug, because he is autistic and I don't know to what end of the spectrum he has the disability. But," I said, "I've met many children with these needs. They're fantastic math people, painters, writers, musicians. They've got skills that I would dream of having, even just part of it. I'd love to play the piano, I'd love to play the guitar, but I haven't learned." And I've seen people, one was a child with autism and cerebral palsy to a degree, and she was playing Mozart, Italian music on a piano, and she was going around, but she was playing the most beautiful music you've ever heard. But people were looking at it negatively at first until she started playing. So you see, you deal with negativity in different ways. But the first thing you've got to change in yourself, that negative aspect, is how would you like to be treated that way, negatively? I was very fortunate, and at the time I wasn't aware of it at the time, that my parents were mentally and physically challenged. And we used to go on the wards as kids from, I'd say, from 7 upwards, till I joined the Navy at 17. So for 6 years to 7 years, I was in and out visiting mum and dad at work, on the wards, dad one time, mum another. And these people with all these disabilities, I learned how to play chess. I learned how to play cards. I learned my maths a little bit with some of them. And some of them play darts with the rubber bones. No, nothing pointy. Dominoes, cribbage. I played with a lot of people. I learned. Yeah, everybody said, "Oh, that's the loony bin. That's for crazy people. That's subnormals and retards and all that." My folks didn't agree with the terminology. It helped change that to medically impaired and disabled people. And people started to realize that those people that they'd always pushed away because of the negative vibes everybody's heard about, people that are crazy. You know which are the craziest people? Those who think they're sane and better than anybody else. I've met very important people in my life. But I earned something from them without even trying. I earned the respect because I treated everybody the same as I would like to be treated. I bumped into a person I've not seen for a very long time today. And I used to work with her, and she had a different position. And I just happened to see this woman walking into the manager's office of a store. I thought, oh, what you done? And I knocked on the door and walked in and says, where's the manager? She says, I'm the manager. That was it. We were having a crack, a good laugh. And there was a person sitting and talking. I asked permission to come in, and they both said yes. And this other girl said, how is it you can talk to Tiffany like that? She's my store manager. And the lady, Tiffany, said to me, and the lady next to her, Graham treats everybody as he likes to be treated. He will make a laugh out of any circumstance because he knows what it's like to be miserable, to be sad, to be alone. Being a recovered alcoholic, having failed marriages, could have made me the most depressed person in the world. I wanted to hide away from everything. But something inside me said, stop living in that negativity. Start living from the experience. Use the negative as a base to find positive. Deal with it. Lift yourself up. You've been there. You know what it's like. You didn't like it. So use that as a platform to go up, to get stronger in yourself. Then I started doing PAL Talk in the late 1990s. That's how I met my wife in 2001. Because I wasn't looking, I was just giving out, not my energy, spirits that flows through us all, if you allow it. The other aspect in being a medium, I get people telling me, you know, you're talking to the dead and they're evil. Now, I'm not going biblical or anything like that, but I've heard and read about belief. And one of the most fantastic people ever walked this earth is a guy called Jesus Christ. And he had the Holy Spirit with him. And he taught us about the Holy Spirit within us all. The Bible depicts it. Now, if you believe it just even partly, you've all got the divine in you. So you can choose whether you believe it's positive or negative. Which would you rather believe in? I believe in the power of good from the guy, Jesus Christ. What he did, and the saying, and I'm paraphrasing, not literal, whosoever believeth in me can do this, if not greater, is on about the spirit of the person, not the physical, the spirit, because we all have this ability within us to be good or to be bad. And I'm sorry, I've seen people that are crazy and they've got fantastic personalities, loving that, but because of the disability or illness, they can't rationally think and speak the way we normal people would like. And anybody who's different from the majority of society, I should say, shun them. And then you see people arguing and fighting in bars or road rage and all the rest of it. Why? Why should this person take it upon themselves to interrupt everybody else and cause negativity? Because they can't deal with it. They can't cope with somebody may be right and themselves wrong. You have to have a balance. You've seen a lot of lovely people getting married. Then within a year, you bump into them again and find out they're separate. So, what happened? Or abuse, drinking, drugs, whatever. You say, what? You two were so happy together. But one tried to change the other or control the other. because they couldn't control themselves. They had no respect for themselves and blame it on other people. This is why I love coming on my show, Dare to Dream, on New Streaming Network, because there's so many shows here for helping single people and people that need help, counselling or whatever. Look on the website, go to newstreamingnetwork.com and look round, go in Solo Network. This is all about people being positive about negativity. I'm just one facet of it. You, the listener, could have the word or the sentence or the action to help somebody see the positivity in their life instead of living and not able to deal with the negativity in their own. Partnership has to come from within. Your body, mind and spirit. Your ego. Yourself. The person. It's all intermixed. And you've got to deal with yourself first. You've got to be able to say, yeah, now I understand. I was wrong or I was right, but they were wrong, but we'll leave it at that. Don't bear grudges. I experienced not too long ago a woman that I thought was pretty sane. Boy, was I wrong to me. And I went, thank you. I realised now I assumed I was wrong. But I thank that person who was negative teaching me that. I don't let negativity hold me back. I always use it as a curve to go forward to positivity. How many of you can say, I saved my own life by not being stupid? I've saved people's lives by being stupid. I rescued people. I was on a boat in the Mediterranean and there had been a collision between two ships. And we went over to try and see if we could help from the warship I was on at the time. And as we were going, something made me say, now. And I put my hand in the water, everything, we were still doing about 15 knots. And I grabbed something and pulled. It was a gentleman's hair. And I pulled him out into the dinghy. We stopped straight away. He said, I've got something. Pulled him onto the boat, gave him mouth to mouth. He recovered. And it turned out he was an American and had 3 daughters. And in those days, this is the 70s. And he had 3 daughters in Vogue magazine of models and entrepreneurs. Really beautiful ladies. But I was a young sailor and I went, wow. And I kept in touch with him until he passed away about 15 years later. From a negative situation, I ended up having a friend over in America where I live now. And he taught me a lot of things. He was a radio operator. He taught me about respect and honesty and all this, which I'd heard from my family and my friends that were around me. But hearing it from a guy who lived in another country made me feel really comfortable. A different viewpoint. And because of all these things I've encountered, I'm able to deal with the negativity that hits me every day, hits you every day, because it's going to every day. Have you heard about the solar winds hitting the Earth, causing magnetic anomalies and people to feel hyper or tired or drained or erratic? I went into a internet service place. I won't say the company. And they were saying they're having problems with their equipment. I said, yeah, it's the solar energy it's causing. She said, yeah, well, we're not on Wi-Fi. I said, it doesn't matter. It's the electrical impulses hitting the Earth that causes disruption on the cables because it's all electrical. It doesn't matter Wi-Fi or anything. And people are electrical as well. And we get bombarded by these solar winds and energies. That's layman's terms. I'm not a scientist. But because I recognise it, my wife suffers from it because it makes her tired and very not calm. She's more spontaneous. She's not angry. It's just it disrupts the way she thinks and me, the way I think or talk or interact. And as soon as it's gone, we go, what the heck was that? Was it another sofa? Check it up. Yeah, another one. But because we know it's not purposely done from or to each other, we're able to rationally calm down and say, what happened there? The negative becomes a positive. We will all encounter this. But you've got to be, pardon the term, man up and say, yes, I was right, or no, I was wrong. You've got to deal with everyday life. You're here to learn a spirit in a human body about life. And you've got a limited time to do it for the material aspect in that life that you are living. Every single person on this earth is entitled to a choice. And those of us, or those that don't have conscious capability of looking after themselves, those with special needs and stuff, need those of us that can think rational and assist and guide and help. Not block or stop, but guide. I've got a relative who's very intelligent for his age, but you couldn't say no to him. So I thought, okay. And I met him for the first time this year. And I went up to him and I said, I've been told I can't say no to you because you get upset. So I'm going to explain why I'm going to say that word. And I gave out a couple of sentences to him. And he looked at me and said, yeah, I understand. And I won't do that. And they were amazed. How can you do that? He never, anybody who said that word to me, he flips. I said, yeah, because he doesn't understand why you're saying it. His negative reaction was because he didn't know how to deal with it. And when I rationally told him why I was going to do it, yeah, I understand that. Yeah. And it was fine. You see, each of us has an ability or disability within ourselves to live life to the full. And all that negativity that comes into your life, you have to deal with it in a way that you feel comfortable. If you don't feel comfortable, change. Walk away. Or completely change your path. There's no reason on this earth why you've got to live in negativity. I've been to places in the Mediterranean where people were destitute, and their attitudes were fantastic. They didn't want anything other than to look after the family to the best of their abilities. They started growing their own food or offering to help other people in payment of food or water. When you've got the essentials that you take for granted taken away from you, and you can get angry, you get frustrated, you get annoyed, and you get very negative. But what's that doing to change your circumstance? Very little. In fact, 9 times out of 10, it'll make it worse. Deal with it and change the viewpoint. My grandmother had a lovely expression when I was very young about when I found out my new schoolmates at the age of 4 laughed at me when I told them I knew fairies. I spoke to them. I went home very miserable. My grandmother put a glass of water in front of me, and behind that, the candles. So the one with the lid is a candle. He said, Graham, look through the bottle of water. What do you see? Went the candle. He said, yeah. Now change view. Glass of water. Oh, sorry. Glass of water, candle. the same thing, different viewpoint. They don't see what you see, Graham. I went back to school as happy as Larry because I didn't let them hold me down in the negativity, calling me crazy, calling me stupid. There's no such thing as fairies. As a child of 3.5, I grew up with them. By 4, I still, at 70, see those fairies in my heart. I haven't seen any in America. I've seen signs of them, but I haven't seen any to talk to communicate with. Because most times when you grow older, your energy changes. It's more negative. You harbor negativity inside you. You may not consciously be aware of it. I know I have negativity inside me, but it doesn't control my life. I've dealt with it. I've pushed it, put it into a place. I can view it. I can acknowledge it. I don't hide it. I deal with it. And that enables me to be calmer. We all have outbursts. We all have sadness. But my title of the show is Dare to Dream. Do you dream of being happy again? Do you dream of being free? Do you dream of getting away from negativity? And deal with it. If you need help, believe it or not, I'm not qualified professionally, college degrees or anything. But because I've been through a lot, and as a medium and a reverend, I can talk in confidence with people who wish me to assist them. I can't guarantee anything except for one thing. I will do my best to assist you. I'll put you in touch with people that may be able to help you better. But that's what the show's about. Dare you dream. I dare to dream. I'm living it. So think back on what I've said in all this. I'm going on break for a minute and then we'll be back and I'll ask a couple of questions. So before I go for the break, you can email me at amedium77@gmail.com or the Britt with 2 T's 77 at hotmail.com. Or you can call me on USA Florida 352-409-1060. Leave a voice message. Because if you don't, I won't respond. Or you can contact me on Facebook as well. Look for Graham Williamson. You see my picture up there, top of your screen. I'm here for you. So I think we'll have a quick break and come back again. Hello, hope we're back on live again now. Right, we haven't got all that long, we've got about 10 minutes. But I want to thank you for coming to my show, Dare to Dream. I'm your host, Graham Williamson, international intuitive, evidential medium and psychic. The topic today is how to deal with negativity. I moved from UK, where I lived most of my life, to America in December 2001. And all under the watchful eyes of my family. And they thought, no, you'll be back, you'll be back, you'll be back. No, it's not going to work. You failed a couple of times. You've done this wrong, you've done that wrong. You're an alcoholic. That gave me more impetus, more reason, more positivity to deal with their negativity. Now they've all changed. They're a lot better. Because I found out I was right. They were wrong. You see, you have to deal with things like this face on. Life's about being true to yourself without being egotistical. I don't brag what I can do, because I don't know what I can do. How can I brag over something I can't explain? I just love living life. The reason why my hair's short is because one of my very good friends has cancer. And I make her laugh. I had another friend who had cancer, but it wasn't as detrimental. I knew that she would survive, no problem. She went through the chemo and survived. This one's taken a little bit longer. So to support her, I shaved my hair off. I've done this 4 times now to friends who've had cancer. And if I can make them laugh, going through all this negative stuff that they're encountering, and I feel for them. I had a brother-in-law who had cancer. He survived it. But boy, was that what a horrible ordeal. But he lived in our home for a while, and we were making him laugh. I met a real cowboy in my brother-in-law, Roy. He was fantastic. He's still around. He still makes himself known. And people say, but that's the devil work. You're talking to the dead, as I said at the show when I started. No, the body dies, not the spirit. And you can deal with the negative around you when you're positive, when you know you can do good for yourself and others. It's not being selfish. It is not selfish looking after yourself first. It's selfish when you deny giving aid to others just because you don't want to. If you can't due to circumstance, say so. My shows are about positivity, uplifting, and helping people find themselves. I dare to dream because my mother made that one, the Dare to Dream dream catcher. Her last gift to me. I could be sad every time I look at that because it was the last gift from my mother, but no. My mother knew that would last physically longer than she would. She died. And since then, she's been around more than ever. I smell lilac, I see daffodils. My dad used to call her Daffodil. I don't know how that started, but Mum loved daffodils. And I see daffodils, it reminds me of Mum. My brother-in-law, Roy, he loved dandelions. Whenever we see him, my wife, Roy's around, look at that daffodil, look at that dandelion. We're not dealing with denial. We're dealing with negativity into a positivity. You choose to be sad or you choose to be happy. And as I say, keep your feet grounded. Hold your head up, not hoity, just keep your head up and breathe in and be honest with yourself because you are the only person that can answer for you. No matter anybody's other opinion, they can offer it when asked. And if they give it without being asked, just ignore it. Unless it's a life or death situation. You see, as I got older, I found out my spirit is still as young as ever. My physical abilities are not as free as I used to be. And I accept it. But I don't dwell on it. Oh, I'm 70, I can't do that. I got told off for suggesting when I get back to America, I'm going to start walking and jogging, maybe even running. You can't do that because you're 70. I just burst out laughing. I really did. In Florida, you can't really go out running midday up until about 5, 6 o'clock because the heat from 12 till 6 is dangerous. You've got to have plenty of water, you've got to have sunscreen, a hat and everything. But the positive attitude I've got for my life is I intend to be here as long as I can, living my life to the best of my abilities. I dare to dream that I'm going to succeed. I don't know if I will, but I'm not going to look at the negative aspect of it. I could get ill and drop dead tomorrow. Or I could just drop dead now. But I'm giving it my best. I'm dealing with it. The negativity that I'm going to die one day. My spirit won't. Your spirit never dies. So all those people who say, oh, when you're dead, that's it. Physically, I totally agree. But your spirit, that which makes your body alive, your ego, yourself, you know who I'm talking about. That lives on. And the more you give positivity over the negativity, the more people remember you. Say, can you remember him? He was a crazy gentleman, always made me laugh. That's what people say to me. And in fact, my wife Sandy's got a lovely phrase. She says, I wish we could call you the comedic medium. I said, that would really look good on my sign there. People who think I'm only here to make a joke. But I fully endorse what she's saying, and I love making people laugh. But I laugh with people, not at people. Because to laugh at people is negative. To laugh with a person, with your heart, with compassion, empathy, love, care, consideration, gentleness, warmth. It negates the negativity. Don't do it just because you want to. Do it because you need to assist somebody, to uplift that person. Ask permission. Whenever I do reading, at the very end, I always say when we stand up, may I give you a hug? I've only been told no twice in 70 years. Why? And I've asked a couple of people, why did you let me give you a hug? She says, your words and what you've done is uplifting to my heart. And I want to thank you the best way I can. And you don't like shaking hands, so a hug I totally endorse. So I get a hug. It's just a short one, but it's meaningful. Now, before we go, I want you to remember, contact me. I'm your host of the Dare to Dream show, Graham Williamson. I'm an international intuitive, evidential medium and psychic. And if you need to get hold of me, email me at amedium77@gmail.com or thebrit77, that's 2 T's, not one word, at hotmail.com, or call me on USA, Florida, 352-409-1060. Leave a voice message. Because if you don't, I won't answer the phone. And if you need to get hold of me, otherwise, contact me on Facebook. Now, my show will be August the 28th, 2 weeks from today on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for 45 minutes. So look at that. I've got 2 minutes left. So I hope you've enjoyed the show, and I hope you'll contact me because I'm here for you. And I want you to know that your comments, your input are taken in and received with love and thanks. But as I say, we're on Dare to Dream show on New Streaming Network. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in 2 weeks on the 28th. And all my love, and I'll speak to you again.